Hey, it's Joseph. I'm out on my dock, as you can see, prepping for a large training with an executive team coming up here. But I thought it would be a great opportunity to talk to you about something I found is really vital to the success of both individuals and organizations in client and prospect meetings, in presentations and pursuits. And that's learning every step of a meeting and mastering it. You know, after leading thousands of pursuits in both an individual and team selling environment for over 20 years, I found very few people really take the time to learn every important step of a meeting. You might be saying to yourself, well, that's because every meeting is different. Well, yes and no. The setting, the topic, and the attendees might be different, but the actual framework of a meeting, if done correctly and effectively, remains very much the same. As an analogy, this is like someone asking you if you understood the framework of a song. And you'd say, well, every song's different. There are a million songs out there. There's different genres. There's countless artists, there's pop songs, country songs, rock, classical, hip hop. I get that. But if you really break it down, there's a framework that all songs follow. There are verses. That's the part of the song that tells the story, conveys the message, and helps the song move along. Then you have the refrain, which is the line repeated at every verse, right? This is followed by the chorus, which is that catchy part you hear most people singing the most, and usually what makes a song stick in your head. And then you have the bridge that's totally different from the rest of the song. It's the exact same thing with a meeting. Regardless of whether it's a first-time meeting with a prospect, a quarterly review with a long-standing client, an annual evaluation of one of your employees, or a large multi-million-dollar presentation. If you really want to be effective, you have to learn every step of a meeting and you have to master it. You have to have a game plan, and you and everyone on your team has to understand the framework of a meeting. You have to have a very specific goal going into every meeting so that you know what to ask for at the end. And you have to practice, both individually and with your team. You can't expect to show up to the game and score 30 points if you didn't show up to practice or take the time to learn not only your offense, but what to expect from the defense. I talk a lot about how I started in sales with no training, a stack of business cards and brochures, and was told best of luck to you. I found that since I didn't know what to do in a meeting, I knew I had to develop a methodology. And I found that if I could dissect each step of a meeting, I could practice each one and then master it. Then I could effectively navigate through each one, know what to expect, how to manage it, and I was comfortable and not thinking about what to say next, which I found inhibits effectiveness. When you're thinking about what to say, it's almost impossible to listen. When you've set the table for a meeting right from the start, your introduction is compelling and engaging, and you understand what to do. You have a game plan and you know exactly how to follow it. You're confident, your mind is clear, you know where you are at all times, where you've been, what's coming next, and everything you have left to do in the rest of the meeting. You're laser focused on listening, and you're exuding confidence and putting your audience at ease, showing them you've done this before and they're in good hands. It's extremely powerful, and people will gravitate toward you. They'll want to work with you, they'll be impressed with you, they'll start to trust you and your organization, and they'll believe in you. Where I see meetings go off track is when people are not sure what to say or do next, or what the next step is, or what they should be asking for. Or they leave the meeting and say in the car on the way home, darn it, we should have asked them about this, or we forgot to review that, or we should have dove in more to talk about this. I'll ensure that never happens to you or your organization again. I see people making crucial mistakes like selling during their personal introductions, or presenting their company before they've learned about the client's success factors, or coming in and unloading their briefcase with product brochures blind to the prospect's needs, or attempting to close before they've trial closed, or leaving the meeting without a well-defined next step, which is a deal killer. There are very specific stages, transitions, and components of every meeting. And in order for you to be effective, you have to know what these stages are. You have to know the order in which they occur and how to master each one. We've all agreed to meet with organizations, and 5 minutes in, you knew you made a mistake. They come in, park themselves in your office or conference room, and you're thinking to yourself, where is this meeting going? They've spent the first 10 minutes talking about your office and the pictures on your desk or the weather, and next thing you know, they've pulled out their PowerPoint deck and they're reviewing it with you page at a time. And I can tell you this is not an effective way to get people to buy into you or be effective in any meeting. I've devoted my entire career to perfecting every step of a meeting, not as a trainer, but as a sales producer who sat in front of some of the most demanding executives for some of the largest companies in the world, and someone who's been evaluated by them every day for over 20 years. If I wasn't completely dialed in and on top of every step of every meeting, I knew I could lose the deal at any moment. And trust me, I've won a lot of deals in my time and I've lost a lot of deals, but I've learned from every one. Not only do I teach people to learn and master every step of a meeting, but I'll make sure your organization is effective, engaging, and confident in every meeting or every interaction. I'll create with you a unified pursuit methodology, which is vital. I'll make sure your organization speaks a common language, and you and your organization will be aligned on every desired outcome of every meeting. You'll exude confidence, competence, and success. And most importantly, you'll see an immediate increase in top-line revenue, in number of new meetings, proposals, and new clients. And you and each member of your team will be tremendously more effective at every interaction. I want to thank you for your time, and whether you end up working with me or not, I encourage you to spend time learning, practicing, and perfecting every step of every interaction so that you can increase the way you and your organization go to market, the way you win business and grow relationships. Look forward to future success together.